Tshepo.
Yes, sir.
Who want that?
I'm all good, my man.
Good man. The name Untitled Chapter is takile. Everywhere you go, that's why you're saying even now.
Untitled is gonna follow me to the grave.
What I love about that.
Yeah.
I blew it. It's takile ka wena.
Go Untitled. No, but Untitled didn't end up poor.
No, but at least the lifestyle.
He kept it to the end of the series.
No, maybe I could later season 2, season 3. That's why you owe us.
And we should have.
Yeah.
Because it's my mother that blew it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, my mother on the show blew my father's inheritances.
Yeah. So it's still I blew it.
It is, I blew it.
Wait, what?
Yeah. She blew it, I enjoyed it.
So let's talk about your family background.
Yes.
Political, you know.
Nake utshando fire, zona Middlelands.
Sure.
However, ke sihlogolo sa Bafokeng go bokone bophirima kwa Khunuma, mama ka tswala kwa Khunuma.
Yeah.
And then she got married to my dad,
Yes.
Maseko Ngamani Gantsele Galinda Mkhonto, who's Swazi born.
Yo.
Full on Swati, but grew up Setswana because my grandfather is from Swaziland, and then they had to run to Lesotho, where my father was born.
Okay.
Ne? And then got Catholicism, then he moved to Joburg and then met my mom.
Yeah.
So my mom was like, hey, brah, Umosotho, Umswati, what's going on? Can we rather bring these children up Kastswana?
Yeah.
And my dad was like, on 2 conditions.
Yeah.
Can they do as a Sotho church? And then as a Tswana school, but later then they can find themselves. So that's how I language. And the Middlelands also way to languages, I mean.
But I must say, I mean, if you look at your personality and what you've been able to achieve, surely all these different things, this DNA, must have really played a part there.
Oh yeah. Look, essentially everybody is an actor.
Yeah.
You meet me, you are a different person now because of the impact I've had on you. So all my phases in life have contributed to my craft, to my attitude, to my survival, to my mistakes, to my lessons, to my teachings. So my DNA keeps evolving.
You speak very highly of your dad.
Oh yes.
Talk to me about how much influence did that man have on you, your personality, and just your values in life.
Yo, may his soul rest in peace. He left us at the 8th December 2020. Mari, I feel he hasn't left me. Yo, that guy. Butezelo Pokelo Nimrod Maseko, the man himself. My father was a listener first, and then a discussion on what he just saw, and then he lays the rules. Mari, when he lays the rules, he lays the rules based on, have you seen me do this? So he showed before he taught. Because he would say, do you see me doing such? I remember there was a stage when I wanted to dabble in alcohol, you know, growing up. My first encounter, I woke up sick. He's like, no, let's come, let's talk.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen me drunk? And I was like, I've never seen my father drunk. So everything he says, he asks reference koyena. Now, it's easier to teach by showing.
That's true.
I mean, Tswana sa re tlhako ya morago e gata mo ya pele gatleng. Go gata is a verb, so it's a doing thing. So you must do to teach. That's what animals do. Now, Ntatole was a disciplinarian, and his base is Catholicism. And Catholicism is very militant, but orderly.
Discipline.
Yeah, no, I call it militant. Discipline is one thing. I call it very militant. I mean, my dad, he doesn't like a creased bed.
Yeah.
You know, so but why are you so particular with these things? He says, you see, in the beginning, when you get used to little litter, then later, bigger litter won't bother you.
Wow.
And I remember him during the Qatar World Cup. Remember the Japanese, after a game, then they started cleaning up the stadium, remember? Hey, Baba would say, why do you clean up? And they said, no, we don't like rubbish. And rubbish goes deep. They didn't say litter, he said rubbish. And if you think about it, litter is rubbish.
It is.
So when you see it often, when people throw paper, and it's 2 papers, and it's a can, and it's a bottle, suddenly your body and your everything gets used to it. So you don't see anything wrong with it. But when you stick to that thing, even your soul doesn't sit well when things are... Okay, it borders on obsessive compulsive disorder.
Yes,
Mare, for me, litter starts here. Litter starts here. Litter starts here. So it bothers me right now in the country when a television show can just hoy out a swear word with no remorse. A print media thing will write F Asterix, what, and CK, and as if our children don't know this.
Yeah.
You know, a nice guy in a nice, expensive car can throw out a bottle of whatever he's been drinking. And these things are starting to be seen as normal. But it's because
that's true.
My dad did not allow me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, now you are no, this is too much. He says, let me, what does mean?
Yeah.
He says, is as strong as the thought in your head.
Yes.
And usually when you it's usually the end.
Yeah.
Right? And you walk away. So you could have said a whole lot of swear words. Mari, later that won't have an effect. It'll develop this into something else. So once we control from thought, you're in control of a lot of things.
Wow. Did you ever talk about money?
Yeah. Yeah. Tamilak in the listing.
Yeah.
And he never wanted to show us money in material things. My mom and my dad, they presented money in moments and in events, and they never missed our birthdays, right? And our birthdays, when we looked back, they were actually not for us; they were for the entire community.
Yeah. Hey.
My dad's car would carry almost everybody to church and from church, and they were always very communal. So my dad made sure that the value overrides the money. Do you understand? This thing can become so much bigger, but it can also make you so much smaller if you give it that weight.
Wow.
So he says, first of all, you don't chase it.
Yeah.
Secondly, you respect it. You don't speak evil of it. Because he was very strong on the spoken word.
Yeah.
My mom as well. The insults is not.
It's not. Yeah.
So I was taught that money is actually a spirit. You need to get to a point where you master it, because if it masters you, it's the end of it.
You're a slave.
Yeah, I mean, and a simplest example, look at the most wealthiest people. Do they look like money? They don't want to look like money.
Simple.
How
can you label?
Because money takes over their status.
Yeah.
If you go to any place, let me take you to Zanzibar for some international festival, right? And you're pretty loaded, but nobody knows you. And you rock up, chill there. You'll be yourself. You'll enjoy. Mari, when you make an announcement, or I'll be in Zanzibar and I'm a billionaire, trust me, when you land in jail, you'll get absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not you that treat you differently. It's the money you have.
Absolutely.
So the money now is overtaking your status.
Yes.
It's the same with fame. Fame can do the same thing if you allow it. With money, if you allow it. So you need to master money. Otherwise, money, you'll be a slave to money.
That's true.
So that was his philosophy to money. And then he says, once you maintain a certain level, the day you are super rich, no one will know. The day you are super poor, no one will know. You don't flaunt it, but you can make it run for the longest time. And also never buy joy with money. I remember my first paycheck.
Yeah.
What was I? 13?
Yeah.
The first pay was in cash, and then we went to go open an account.
Oh.
Yeah. So now, my dad locked the doors and then closed the curtains.
And just by the way, how much was the first?
We'll see. Look, it's enough to have taken a lot me and my siblings to school, to have improved the house.
At the age of 13.
Yeah. Money is beautiful.
Yeah. Sorry, man, I disrupted your flow. Man.
So now, in the morning, there's no money until we have breakfast. And he says, no, it's me and my son. She tells my mom, no, we're going to open a bank account now. Now, when we get into his bucky, I don't see this money. But I don't ask. I mean, it's my dad. I don't ask anything. Can't you know? He put it in the car early in the morning without me seeing it.
Yeah.
When we get to the bank, we go sit down. This big Afrikaner boy comes. And my dad is Afrikaans is terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. And he didn't even make an effort to want to learn Afrikaans.
Yeah.
Right? But his stature was a big boy. My dad was, he wore a size 11 shoe. Massive man. So just his stature would speak volumes. And his silence as well. So when he walks in and he stands there, they come up to him and these boys are shorter than him. Naturally, they get intimidated. But then he says, no, we're here to open an account for my little man here. And they say, no, come through. So we sit and he says, excuse me. So he leaves me with this guy and he goes out. He comes back with this money now. So the whole time, he never flashed this money in front of me. Never. And he puts it there and they start to count it. Man, I can see this guy is thinking, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And no, my dad is nonchalant about it. No, we do the signatures, then sharp. I think it was Volkskas or something because I'm that old.
Yeah.
So, but now he's not taken aback by the amount of money. He's not flashing this money in front of me. But this whole event is about the money.
Yeah.
So the money did not take over
Yes.
the moment.
Yes.
For him, the moment was to say money must be saved and respected. You don't just flash it around and show everybody that you've got money. I'm like, oh, okay, okay. I mean, it got so terrible that there was a point where I couldn't watch myself on TV because it was my turn to wash the dishes.
Okay.
We had this big Philips TV at home, but I couldn't watch myself on it. So he was about those kind of things. You know, I'm blessed because they allowed me the time to be a child. A lot of parents now who've got child stars elevate their children, not even elevate, catapult them to a parental status where the children forget to be children and it catches up later with them. They either through drugs, but something just goes wrong because you forget to play. Because now you have an income which is more than your parents, suddenly they elevate you. Now you can do parties. My father like, party? Yeah. Party way.
For what?
No, what are you celebrating? Are you mad? No, 6 o'clock you must be in the house. Or, no, I remember the late Thomas Malapane, his dad owned taxis. His father was my father's best friend as well. So he would come to watch boxing matches, but now don't drive the cars without a driver's license. So I'm like, nah, man, Papa. No, man, I want to drive your car. He says, you want to what? I want to drive your, oh. Do you have a driver's license? No, I don't have. So already that's a fail. And you want to drive whose car? Your car. Oh, my car. You want to drive my car that I bought. I'm like, yeah, but other people are, you see? Other people. That's the beginning of your downfall. Why do you think you have a different fingerprint to other people?
Yes.
You'd be similar, then go live there. Everything was always about the lesson. And now that made me want to buy a car. I'm like, I'm going to buy one. And I bought it for my dad. I'm like, I want to see this thing. I'm like, yeah, I bought the car. He says, yeah. Well done, congratulations. Now, you must look after this car. When you know you're going partying, leave it in the house. Oh, Papa, I bought a car. What did you buy it for? No, Papa, think about it and we'll talk later. So he always added value onto a lot of things. But when we speak about money, he wanted to associate it with the lesson. My maternal grandmother, Mampoki, had one of those money boxes where you hoy the money in, and it was compartmentalized. 1 rand, 50 cents, 20 cents. Just so when you put the money, it rolls down, it goes into its compartments. My grandmother used to she was an entrepreneur. She would sell little sweets. At the end of the year, everybody opens their money box. Yes, like when that money is sitting there, but we can't touch it. So because we're grown up knowing what, this thing makes a difference, but can we go play now? And then she would divide it. Half of it goes back into the money box, and half of it she buys us stuff. So you know, it's your money, but it's not bigger than my grandmother. Which becomes a problem with child stars. It's money, but now this money suddenly is bigger than your parents. It's suddenly bigger than your values, and it's also bigger than you. And guess what happens when the money goes out, when it goes dry? You go dry.
That's true. It feels like your dad was all about purpose.
My mom is a liver. Right? She lives. She enjoys every single moment. And as a result, I thought my parents were rich. I thought we were balling. Because joy was presented differently. Just a drive to Rustenburg would be an occasion, a big occasion. We'd celebrate every single thing. TV, we are the loudest. You think there's a fight because we celebrated moments. We grew up with, I don't know how many sets of parents who would come to my parents' house, and they were all fathers and mothers to us. So because now they cater for these people all the time, we always have the clothes. And people always respect us. I mean, I was a big chubby. I was a bomber, proper bomber. So I thought, nah, I'm balling. Because I was taught that joy is not money. But there was money behind it. He just held it for this, because I don't know who taught him. But he knew that this thing has got the potential to overtake you and give you false illusions.
You're not talking about that. I mean, you started acting at the age of 13.
Yes, sir.
And obviously you became famous. How did you handle fame at that age? I mean, was it the cushioning of your dad?
I didn't know it was called fame. I get it. Like I tell you, my father used to say, when you walk down the streets, you represent the entire Maseko clan. So if you decide to be naughty, you're embarrassing us. That was my concern about this image. You know, he says, you must carry this image proper because you are us. He says, imagine if you hear that I fell down the road because I was drunk. Every time you pass, they'll say, yo, this boy, this is the boy. Remember that father that fell? It's his dad. So is that how you want to be labeled? So he says, never allow certain moments or material things to label you. You must always be about the final name. Correct? This is me. Take me as I am. So, Kabo Femi, the magic Sachayo, the late Rosalind Marapedi, Dade Ruben Todi. So they come to pick me up. I mean, I had a tutor, and it was a white girl. So you can imagine this white girl, all these other subjects. So I lived proper. And this proper life that looked nice it was more value than money. Anyway, so now they come to my parents because they must take me away for a whole 3 months. We shot Taranto for 3 months. My dad sat them down, famous as they were. Like, welcome, sit down. My mother would bring tea, because my mother she's a host. How, and then we sit down, we have a nice chat. How, 2 minutes, they said, no, Tshepo, go play. Okay, no, shop. Now, something said, no, just go peep. My dad asked them, especially in Tate Meji Khaja, he said, listen, this is my son. So when you take him away for that long, you are taking over as a parent. These are my rules with this boy. So now, because you are his father for this period, these are now your rules over this boy. Fortunately, Tate Magic Khaja is very faith-based, strong, funny guy. You know Magic Khaja, the actor, phenomenal guy. So now it was an extended family. Now, I'm a young boy. For me, it's a holiday. You get picked up in a car or drive you, and you've got this nice room, and then they bring you breakfast. It was the life, and they give you lines. And then when you during either when the director decides to change things, they give you a chair. So I'm like, oh, this is life. No? But little did I know, I was being monitored by all these people. So they were like an additional eye by my parents. And this is when I saw it. It was a Friday. They should like a Bronco Sprint. I mean, I was driving that Ford Fairlane V8 convertible car. And I'm thinking, hi, man. You know, they know him like, Mommy Dad is not too far from here. We can just quickly take this car. Somehow, because I was very naughty. Highly naughty. But that thing is a big engine. So you started, it roars, my man. Go to Magic Khaja, hey! We are guy! No, I'm Magic Khaja. Arakia okay, papa. No, I get a so we started Lankolo. No, okay, Rata, Nico do my Nakole every day. So what's your story? And I realized, my father has left Middlelands. He's here with me. But I'm so blessed to have had that because a lot of youngsters, I mean, I was the lead, guys. So naturally, they're supposed to bow down to me. But my father told me, you're the lead just by script, but you're still a child who needs to learn. Even by money, you might be a lead, but you're still a child who needs to learn. So now, when you get a child star, and they light up a cigarette in front of these parents, it doesn't sit well with me. Or they can just drop an F-bomb in front of you. When they lose, like, I'm like, no, man, it's those little things, and it develops. So when you forget who's here, if I don't know you, I must give you respect first for you to give me respect. And also what I do has got a lot to do with where I come from. And also it'll determine where I want to go. So I was very protected in that regard. I had my parents everywhere. Now, this fame thing made me think, so now, because they see me on TV, everybody must sees me. And everybody might come back and tell my father if I misbehave. So it pulled me in. My freedom just left. This TV thing is not the best of best because it does steal your freedom away. I mean, when you want to be a child or a teenager or you want to do crazy things, now it's worse. There's Twitter, there's Insta Lives. So when you want to explore as an artist, your movements are limited. So you need to find a hideaway. But if artists remember this one thing, correct? What you are on screen has got nothing to do with who you are now. But instead, who you are now can either get you more jobs or can stop you from getting other jobs. But your freedom, forget about it, it's gone.
But I also heard apparently growing up no Tsama Banyana. So did that help you somehow?
Banyana no child's play. Another simple one, my dad says, never approach a woman when you're not mentally ready, emotionally ready, physically ready, financially, never. Because they'll figure you out in a second, Baba. So when I do these high school motivational programs, I tell these boys, I think maybe start dating at 25. Because then you figured yourself out, you've played. You must understand, I've only known one mother. I've only known one grandmother, both sides. Even in my marriage, I only know one mother from my wife's side, even they are paternal. So I know this stability, and I've seen what it does. I mean, I talk of these long years as if it's only an hour's event. Mare, if we make the mistake in this short period, the effects will be that long as well. So we need to be cognizant of such things. So when you approach her, you must decide. Because somehow you know. Yeah, this one is nice, Mara.
Yeah.
Or this is the one I want to marry. So now we're told, don't bring girls here. Here, girls. No. No, the one you bring, you must make sure that this is the one you want.
Yes.
I'm not choosing for you, but you must choose. And I was a big, chubby boy, a terrible skin, but the fame kind of like made up, because, makeup must make sense. I mean, look at me now.
Yeah.
Sky made me look beautiful. So I was not really scared of girls, but I was living.
Yeah.
I was living, I was playing. I mean, I did kung fu, I did soccer, I did capoeira, I did music, I did dancing, I did church, I did school, I worked. So there was no time for girls.
I honestly so admire the influence of your parents and just this whole family structure. Because you know how many people would love to have grown in that kind of a setup, where there's a mother, father, a solid family, because today, there are who are absent. And they don't play any part in the lives of their children.
Yeah, look, there are many people who grew up in a setup, mother, father, but there was dysfunctionality there.
Absolutely,
right? Yeah. Because hurt people will hurt people.
That's true.
But other hurt people can learn from it and change things around. You break the chain. In the Christian world, they call you break the chain, and you break this whole curse. You can come from a single parent family. But there's a strong uncle, a strong priest, a strong coach, a strong brother, somebody strong in the community. And then somebody instills these things. But if you're vision-based, the process doesn't really matter.
So, having learned everything you've learned from the parents and the influence from your dad, you're a married man, you have...
Yes, and a father of 3.
How does the money thing work in that family?
I'm very strict, bro.
Yeah. So I
can a choice because it worked for me.
Yes.
I've seen it work.
Yes.
I see it work, right? Now, fortunately, my father-in-law is also like that.
Yeah.
Baller of note. But he wants his appearance to speak for him first than how he appears. My daughters have got these money boxes.
Right.
Now they've got bank accounts. But we started cards on because they must actually see this money.
Yes.
Because I learned, we are so busy living that when you go grocery shopping with your children, they take, and they ask, can I have this? And you get a nod, yeah. And when you swipe, they don't see money.
No.
Right? They see this
Plastic
card.
money.
Yeah. And in their heads, this thing never runs out of money. And also, we never taught them how that money gets in there. They just know, no, this is a magic card.
Yeah.
You do this, there's groceries. So I'm like, so what's the lesson? He says, no, you need to, if you, let's say you buy groceries for 4K, then you make a list for about 5,000 rand, right? And you make them count the 4,000 rand. Make them count and say, listen, we teach you money, now you're going to do groceries.
Yeah.
You load into the trolley, and then you make sure that it exceeds the amount of money that they have. When you get to the till, stand back. So when it hits 4,500 rand, but no, how much do you have? No, I've got 4K. What is that money? It says 4,500. So you need to return some things. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You choose what you must return.
Yes.
If you return bread, then it means you're not having bread tonight.
Yes.
If you're returning meat, you're not having meat tonight. If you return your sweet, then we can live
And
with
let
that
them
sweets,
make that
right?
choice.
Yeah, they must make that choice. Now, also when they pay, I mean, remember when they have this money, it makes, somehow money makes you feel good. So somehow, you come alive. Ne? But when they see it go, and it finishes, then they understand that, so this thing can finish, but it brings bigger joy in the form of groceries we're all going to eat at home for everybody. So these money boxes, end of the year, like my grandmother, we cut them open. We split it 3 ways. The half goes into the account. Half of half, they can go crazy. The other half remains. So they've got a bank account and a piggy because they need to feel this feeling of money. We need to teach children money by implementing. Sometimes take them to a car you can't afford. Let's go car shopping. You get in there, you get into this beautiful convertible double cab Jeep Rubicon, and you can't afford it. Ne? And they tell you, no, can we test drive? Yeah, they should go crazy. And then on your back, so how much is no? It's 1.3 million. No, we can't afford this car. Hey? Papa.
Yeah.
Oh no, look, if you want us to afford it, we must sell all your TVs and your tablets, and then for this whole year we can't go on holiday. Then we can afford it. They'll be like,
then it starts making sense.
We're not gonna go on holiday because of this car. But no, this car can go. This is how we need to teach money.
Yeah.
Money makes things easier, but money doesn't make you happy.
That's true. Mara, when you were a child star at age of 13, have you ever been broke in your life?
I also wouldn't know. I can, like I said to my dad said, keep it here.
Yeah.
So that when you're there,
Yes.
nobody would know.
Yes.
When you're here, nobody
No one
would know.
knows.
Because broke is also relative.
Yes.
Right? If I have 10 bar, and then I buy a house for 6 million, and I buy myself a Rubicon for 1.3, and I buy a V250 for 2.5 million, and I buy I don't know, another car for and that 10 million is done. I'm now broke. The money is gone. Yes, these things are here, but I'm broke. So broke only applies to money. Now, if you elevate money above you,
Yes.
you will get to a point where you say you are broke.
Yeah. So
The bank doesn't say you're broke.
what do you call
It says insufficient funds.
or you are temporarily out of cash.
No, you've spent what you have.
Yes.
And the nice thing about money, it must rotate.
Yes.
Yeah, the more you give it out, investors, well, you know this. The more you put it into good places, it brings in, it gives you good ROI.
What would you say to people who are freelancers, who don't have a 9 to 5, I mean, they work for themselves, to actually stay afloat without getting to a point, as you put it, Jorge?
Try and run away from debt as much as you possibly can. People die of depression sitting at home thinking, "Joe, can I owe 2 million?" In this industry,
Yeah.
pay off as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
I was blessed to have experienced the formal academic training of this industry called TT. So they teach you these things. Or look after your money, because you won't always have a job. Make sure that you look better than your money. The phrase is, don't look like your money.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Because people change perspective.
That's true.
Never get to a point where your talent is overshadowed by the money.
Yes.
Right, but you must be willing to lose some deals. I mean,
Yes.
there are jobs that come over. No, this is not for me. And your budget doesn't quite allow. So never push yourself to a point where you will be so desperate that you'll take everything. And how you get to desperation, you deplete your finances.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you spend all you have, but you've spent it on good things, it brings a good feeling. So we need to get to a point where you manage things where you always, I call it life jacket. You must be always floating. And not floating because this is all you have. No, you must be floating because it's your attitude towards a lot of things.
Brother Tshepo, the whole day, thanks for your time.
My man, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ntate man. All the best, man.